Hello, everyone, and welcome to the About Healing podcast. This is a show created for those on or awakening into their spiritual journeys who are ready, wanting, and learning how to heal themselves. I'm your host, Sheree Buckman, medium and spiritual healer. Join me as I share my unfiltered perspective in healing, creating a place of love and understanding for all, reminding us that we are in this life together and never alone in our struggles. To learn more about me and my purposeful work, visit my website at shereebuckman.com. Let's begin. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our holiday healing series. This is going to be episode 2 of our 3. Hello, Copper.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
That's great.
No, I was going to say, now that we've spent 2 hours talking and finally recording.
Let the world know that I just emotionally dumped all over you.
But that's what I'm here for.
I think it's a great example that we're not perfect either. So
not at all. Isn't that the point? Again, it's what I've said what the point of this podcast is about. It's our own healing journeys and that we're all connected in it. It's not that I or you or anybody else has done all the work to be completed in that and that we are there and going to help you all. No, we're all going through it still.
And forever.
And this time it was Copper's turn.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely my turn today. Yeah. Right. I should be paying you.
Yeah, you should. What is this? Oh, we digress. Okay, we'll bring it back. Last week we focused on the reminders and lessons of our past, of who we were, where we've been, and what we've done. So I want to continue the conversation by talking about our healing journeys, but focusing on our present selves. So here we are, being visited by the ghost of Christmas present. And within this, again, just like Ebenezer experienced in the Christmas Carol, we're going to go deep and we're going to talk and get serious about a few things that are going on. And where I want to start first is, and the only place really to start when we're talking about our present selves and our healing journeys is, who are you now? As simple as that question sounds, it is a deep-rooted question. Because to find the answer, to truly find the answer to this, we have to go really deep. This is looking at your thoughts, all your thought forms, about your words, your actions, your relationships with yourself and others, and about the life you created and you live. I want you to take a minute here and to really think about it for a moment, to think about literally the present time. Let's think about the day right now that you are living. Think about the morning and to where you are right now. Let's think about your thoughts. What kind of thoughts have gone through your head for the day? Are they positive? Or have they been more negative or self-defeating? Are you having more thoughts about others, maybe carrying some of those judgments, whether it is for yourself or for other people? Where are you there? What words have you used? Have you used words of frustration because you're feeling stressed and that's what's coming out? Or have you allowed yourself to process and to use more uplifting and positive words for those around you? And your actions play that big role too. This also means if sometimes when we're in a depressive state, we stop moving and we stop doing, which obviously is good for you sometimes. You need to take that time, but is it to a place where now you are creating a bigger hole to dig yourself out of? Again, continue to examine the relationships, the one that you have with yourself. How do you feel about yourself? How do you see yourself? How is your relationship with other people? Think of your most immediate relationships. And then think about the life that you are living and the one that you created, the one you live daily. Because this is who you are now. This is that present you. And you have to see it from the whole picture. And then it's looking at and asking yourself too, do you like who you've become? Look, if you don't immediately say yes, then it's time to use that honesty tool. I call it a tool because it really is. It's something you have to pick up and purposefully use. And you need to start dissecting yourself. And with that, I mean, if you're not happy with who you've become, then you have to look at everything that we just discussed. It is about your thoughts and your actions and the relationships and so on and so forth. And the reason I say that we have to use the honesty tool is because you have to look at each of those pieces and you have to be honest with yourself with your thought basis. Look at all of that as a whole and then look back and see which parts need work or would you like to be adjusted. And yes, this is a really hard thing to do if you are not in a space of being completely honest with yourself often, because topping that with the big truth of who you've become and the life that you're living has ultimately been created by yourself. It comes down to those thoughts and the choices we make, and that's what creates the reality in the present. So when you look at those parts, and if you find the ones that you do want to work with or that you want to adjust, then it's how can you go about doing that? It's about breaking it down and creating baby steps, because those are the ones that stick. Now let's look at your relationships. How are they? Because we need to look at all avenues of the relationships, your personal relationships and your professional relationships, because these are two different beasts. They really are, because you could have a really good relationship maybe in your personal, but not having good in your professional, and vice versa, because it's all about where we're putting our energy into. And then looking at it and deciding which ones are positive. So out of all of your relationships, take a look at them. It's right now. We're talking about your family. We're talking about children, your spouse, or other relationships. We're talking about siblings, parents, friends. And then we're talking about coworkers, bosses, clients, people you pass on the street. What are these relationships like? And which ones are positive? Look at that. And you can even sit down and make a list here. Which ones are the positive ones in your life? And then which bring you down or give you stress and anxiety? Start making a list there too. And there's one thing I want to bring up when we're talking about relationships, especially now that we're talking about looking at any of the relationships that bring us stress and anxiety. I have to mention here, and because this feels really big and powerful for me too, and it's something that even looking back, I have to look at, is that no matter the condition of a relationship, no matter what, no matter how bad or how good or anywhere in between, just know that loving someone is never a mistake. I have to say this here because there's so much trauma that is created from relationships gone bad, so to speak, with the separation, with losses, with heartache, that sometimes we go into the spaces of regret, wishing it never happened, or I shouldn't have made these choices, or I shouldn't have given the attention, or have felt this way about this person. It would have made life so much easier. But our life and our journeys are made of all of these experiences, the trials, the losses, and the grief. And it is never, ever a mistake to love somebody. Because in the moment when it was good, it was good. And it's okay to keep that memory in your heart. And then it's just about processing and letting go after a relationship has run its course. Now, I'm not saying this because if a relationship is bringing you stress and bringing you anxiety, that it is time to cut all cords and drop it. But I am saying this to those who have lost or who are in that position, that we should not regret it because there are lessons and there are growth in it. Sometimes we can't see it now, but your future self will one day. And so with the last episode in the past, I brought up past traumas and triggers and what you've brought with you, what you've collected that has changed you of where you are. And so we have to ask this question too. Are you blinded of the good and love in your life? And this is an example of Ebenezer and A Christmas Carol. just like with his nephew. It was always bah humbug when his nephew still loved and tried to bring him into the family and wanting to celebrate with him and still expressing love, even though Ebenezer didn't give it back or didn't see the bigger picture because he was blinded. And it's to look back and see if you have brought those triggers that we discussed, and are you still dealing with them? We're talking about those walls and barriers because, again, we've talked what we were just talking about, that losing and loving someone can create that, where we don't want to feel that heartache again. But again, putting those walls and barriers up, it keeps you from ever having that love again. Or again, the anger or resentment or the mistrust, et cetera, et cetera. And these can block you from the present time of the relationships. So look at it all as a whole and see if you can see that. And when it comes down to it, although you have been through a lot, you are the only one who can change or heal yourself. Yes, you may need help from time to time to help you through the process, but ultimately, the work is done by you. It is an emotional process. It is a mental process, and it takes work. And there is a reason why it is called the present, because it is a gift. Because here in the present is the only place where the power to change exists. And that is why I brought all of this up. I wanted you to think about and get in that brutally honest place of looking at where you are and who you are and how you live, your relationships and everything as a whole. Because where you see the anxiety, where you see the things that you want to be changed, you are not stuck there. Because as the last episode, we're talking about leaving the past in the past. Leave it there. It cannot be changed. But if you bring yourself now in the present and focus on that, this is where you can create and start changing and adjusting what you want and need. As I said, the past has already happened and the future is yet to come. So I want to leave you with this, and I want you to remember to make the changes you desire now. This is how you take control back and begin to live for you, because you are the creator of your future. Nobody else is. No other outside circumstances. Even if things come into your life that you cannot control, you can always, always, always control how you react to it, how you think about it, and what you do with it. It doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't have to be negative. And this is great because this is going to lead us into next week's episode as we get into the Ghost of Christmas Future and how we continue our healing as we move forward. And this has been great. I really hope you feel a little bit more inspired about who you are right now in the present time. Because no matter what, and no matter how much you want to change, just realize that you are not in your past anymore. And this is huge. This is huge. Because right now I'm hoping that if you weren't already aware, you are now aware that you have full control to change any and all that you want. Any and all of it. This is not without fear, and no one said it's going to be easy, but it's there. I hope you are all having a blessed season, and I hope you are learning to enjoy yourself and take time for you. And until next week, take care of yourselves. With so much love and gratitude, I want to thank you for listening to this week's episode. My hope today is that the message continues to guide you along your path to healing. You can find About Healing Podcast on Pandora, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, or any of your favorite places to listen in. Follow and share the podcast on Facebook and Instagram, where you can find healing guidance, quotes, tips, insights, and chances to win free stuff. To ask questions or share comments, email me at abouthealingpodcast@gmail.com, or feel free to always reach me on Facebook and Instagram. Until next time, be kind to yourself.